We are starting off the week with a crockpot soup. I shared this in Friday's cookbook collab video, so I will have it linked down below. Next up is our version of Pollo Bandido. Pollo Bandido is one of the things that we can get local, which actually we ended up going to Mexican later in the week, which y'all will see that. And I got this exact thing of how they serve it in the Mexican restaurant. But I just took and used taco seasoning and some olive oil to marinate the chicken throughout the day. Then we have our famous cheese dip, and then I made some salsa minute rice to go with it. I'll have that recipe linked down below for you guys. And normally I do black beans with this, and I season up my black beans, but I was all out of black beans, so I used pinto beans, and I just seasoned them up the same way. I normally add a little bit of taco seasoning to the black beans, so I did the same thing with the pinto beans, and y'all, they were actually really good. We really enjoyed them. Perfect side to a at-home version of Pollo Bandido. So we just serve it with some soft shells, some salsa, some sour cream, extra cheese, and then chips for our cheese dip. There is the chicken. It was so good, so flavorful. And then the pinto beans. And then the rice, and then I'm fixing Winston just a cheese quesadilla because he's not a fan of chicken. Next up is patty melts. These are super easy. I just cut up an onion. We have a couple pieces of bacon left over, and I went ahead and balled up the burgers, and then this is the seasonings that he's going to be using. Y'all know those are our go-tos. And then he's just doing this on our mini Blackstone. This is the one we use for camping, and you just run it off of a little propane can, and it was so cold, so he just does it in the garage. That way it's a little warmer. But these are super easy to just throw together, and then he just you can use regular bread if you want to, but I bought Texas toast to do like a thicker piece. And then he just melts the cheese and just puts them all together and lets that cheese get all melty and toasty. And then for his, he adds the onion. And then I just made a box of macaroni to go with it. Super easy dinner and delicious. We have got a delicious navy bean vegetable soup. This was a new to me recipe. I shared this also in Friday's cookbook collab video, so don't forget, I'll have it linked down below. We had a super fun family night, and we did some homemade pizzas. I went ahead and just rolled everybody's dough out, and then we had one extra dough that we ended up making cheese sticks out of. But I just used the Kroger pizza crust. Y'all know I always use that. So I just mixed it according to package directions and then just rolled it all out for everybody. We've got black olives, we have bacon bits, we have some ground hamburger meat, and then some ham. I normally have pepperonis, but my pepperonis were bad, so I had to throw them out. So this is the toppings that we had. I had a couple random jars of pizza sauce that I needed to use up, so we just used that. And then we have our mozzarella cheese. This was super fun, just to set everything on the table and let everybody make their own pizza, which is funny because everybody literally made the same thing. We all added the same ingredients, except Luke didn't have black olives, but everybody added the same meats and all that. It was funny, but it was still fun. A nice family dinner night. So here was Luke's and Winston's. Then there is mine. Mine was square, the only square one. I ended up cooking Winston's and the cheese sticks in the air fryer, and I kind of forgot about the cheese sticks, but they were still really delicious. Luke made those. He took leftover Papa John's garlic butter and rubbed it on the dough and then loaded it up with cheese, and y'all, they were delicious. So we ended up not being home Thursday night for dinner, so we just stopped at the Mexican restaurant. Luke got the taco salad, Winston got a cheese quesadilla and rice, and I got my normal Pollo Bandido like we talked about at the beginning of the video. We're gonna get dinner going. Luke ran into Sam's Club and he picked up this pork bone-in country style ribs. He was gonna smoke them, but he didn't have time, so I'm just gonna put them in a slow cooker. So it says it's 5.5 pounds, so this is gonna make a lot, but we're just gonna roll with it. So I'm just gonna take these out of the package, put them in here, and then we're just gonna season them on all sides with the Kinder's red garlic and the John Henry's Mojave garlic pepper. This is a really good combination. We love this. So I'm just gonna season those up and then we'll make our sauce. So I've got one layer down of the ribs, and now I'm gonna make my sauce so that way I can pour some of it over here and then put the other 3 on top and then pour the rest of the sauce over. So that way they're all covered in the sauce. It said bone in, but I only found 2 pieces with a little bone, so I'm not sure. But anyways, we're gonna go in with one of these Lipton onion soup mixes. And then I've got 1 can of cream of mushroom. Add that in. And then 1 can of beef consomme. I would have really liked to have the French onion soup is what I normally like to use, but I don't have any, so we're just gonna use the beef consomme, but it'll be fine. Y'all know I like to cook with what I have on hand, so this is one of these recipes. So I'm just gonna mix this together well, and then we will pour it over top. I'm gonna try to get the sauce to cover it, but I'm really not sure if it's going to, because these are such big pieces of ribs. So we'll see. I'm home today, so I'll just like move, toss it around and move it as it cooks. And then I'm just gonna let these cook on low for about 6 to 8 hours. I'm not really sure how long they're gonna take because they're such big pieces. So we'll just kind of see. I'll let you know at the end how long they actually cooked for. So to go along with our ribs tonight, I'm going to make some mashed potatoes. I have just peeled and cut up my potatoes, and then I've covered them with water. And then I'm going to add in some chicken bouillon to match the amount of water. So if you have chicken broth, use chicken broth in this in place of the water in the bouillon. I just always have the powder or the cubes on hand. It's really easy to use it. And then just season it up. I like to use onion powder, garlic powder, some pepper, and then some salt. Just give everything a good stir. And then I cook these on high for 4 hours. And then we'll drain the liquid, mash them up, add in our milk and butter and all that good stuff. Here they are when they are all done. Y'all, these were so good. They were just fall apart tender. Highly recommend using pork ribs if you've never done that before. I always do like pork chops, do like smothered pork chops, but I've never tried it with pork ribs, and I will forever be doing them that way. They were falling apart, so tender and delicious. For the mashed potatoes, I just took and drained the potatoes, and then I added in some milk and some butter, and I just put the lid on it. That is on warm, so that's just gonna kind of melt that butter and heat the milk up. And then we're gonna take and make our cornstarch slurry, add that in there, and it thickened up really good. It made a really good gravy. I'm telling y'all, that was so good. It's something different, and just that different cut of meat, it was really, really good over the mashed potatoes. Now that your butter is melted and your milk's heated up, you're going to add your potatoes back in, then you're just going to mash them. I like to use a hand masher. You have to be careful when you use an electric masher for like a crock pot, because with it being hot, you could crack it if you hit the side of it. And y'all know how much I love my crock pots, and I do not want them to crack. So I always just use a hand masher, just mash them up. You can add more liquid if you need to, or more butter, season with your heart. And I just put a dollop of butter on top, and then keep it on warm till it's ready to serve. And then here is everything. We've got our pork ribs. We have our mashed potatoes. I served it with a can of corn and some green beans and some sweet Hawaiian crescent rolls. Y'all, I cannot rave over this enough. It was amazing. And we ended the week with Dorito Casserole. It's been a while since we've made this. It's really easy and delicious. I have a recipe for this. I'll have it linked down below for you guys. This is just my version, super easy. So I've got 1.5 pounds of ground beef there. I just cooked up, drained the grease, and then I added in 1 can of the tomato soup and a 1/2 can of water. And then I added a packet of taco seasoning plus a little bit extra just because I had 1.5 pounds. And then I just mixed that together. And you're going to roll out your crescent dough, put that filling in there, top it with your cheese. And we had a crushed up bag of Doritos that Luke brought home. That's the whole point of why I made this, because I wanted to use what I had in the pantry. And then, but it wasn't enough to do the whole top, so I had some Cool Ranch Doritos in there also that were actually out of date, which I didn't realize they were till I was mixing all this together. But they were out of date, needed to be used, so I just combined both of those, crushed them up, and put them on top, and it was delicious. I baked this at 375 for about 20 minutes. I did end up putting foil on the top just because the bottom wasn't done, but the top was. So I put foil in there just for the last little bit, so that way the Doritos didn't get too burnt. As you see, they were a little bit brown there, but nonetheless, it was still super delicious. I served it with some cheese dip and some sour cream. And that is it, y'all. That wraps up this week's What's for Dinner video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Hope it gave you some inspiration to cook more for your family at home. It doesn't have to be fancy, just as long as your family is fed. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and comment down below. I will see y'all in the next one. Bye, guys.